All right. So before we actually jump into our training objectives for today, what I want to do is actually walk through what a course looks like from a student perspective in Blackboard Ultra. So I am going into my course here as a student, and I can immediately see on the main spot of my content page all of my modules that I need to do. I can see my instructor has designed this with an organizational layout and modules. I can go ahead and access documents within our modules or videos. I can use the arrows in the upper right corner to navigate through my instructor's content. The nice thing is I can also use those arrows to navigate back. My instructor has also inserted some assessment items throughout my module, so I can go ahead and take that. And I can see as a student what I've completed in this particular module. Now, of course, content items, I'm going to manually check off myself. The platform doesn't know if I've done this completely. I can go ahead and go through my content. Now, at any point as a student, I can head to my gradebook and I can see my progress in the course. So I can see if I've completed items, if there's items that are overdue, I can see my due dates right down in the center, and I would be able to see my overall grade in the upper right corner. But as a student, I can always come back to this content tab and see all of my content right on the main page. So if you're familiar with the original platform of Blackboard, you know our students kind of had to drill down to multiple folders to see all of that content. Here, everything's going to be right on the main page for them, and they can quickly and easily see what they need to complete. So again, I just wanted to show you real quick before we got started what a course looks like from a student perspective. But let's go now and jump into our training objectives for today's webinar. So this is what we're going to cover. We're first going to access and navigate a Blackboard Ultra course. We're going to create a course organization. So that's going to be our modules, our folders, and really set the tone for where all of our content is going to be in our course. Then we're going to add a syllabus and some other file types just so you can see how all of that works with different file types. And then we're also going to add some media files. So really today's training is just to get you up and running with the basics of understanding where everything is located in the platform, creating a course organization, and just adding some of your content items. There's so much you can do in Ultra. And I actually just came off of last week. I was attending Blackboard's annual conference. So I am on a Blackboard Ultra high right now. So there's going to be a lot of really great things you can do in the platform. Today, we're just going to cover the basics, get you up and running with setting up your course content. Now, before we move forward and actually jump into Blackboard, looking at our training objectives for today, does anyone have any questions before we get started on our content? Something very specific you wanted to make sure you saw today, anything like that, go ahead and either come off mic or you can go ahead and send it over into that chat window. All right, let's jump into our first training objective for today, and that is going to be to access and navigate our Blackboard Ultra courses. So I'm going to go ahead and just access our Penguin portal here. Right in the center under Blackboard, I'm going to select Login. That's going to bring me to Blackboard. Now you're always going to land on the institution page. So the institution page is going to show you various trainings that you can self-enroll in, maybe trainings that you need to do for certain parts of your job. But I want to go ahead and take you to the bottom. This is where you're going to see the release notes for Blackboard Ultra. So Blackboard Ultra actually has monthly releases with pretty big and significant updates to the platform. So I do want to direct you here, maybe at the beginning of each month, just come here and see what new features are going to be in the platform. So you can see this past month, one of the major improvements that they did was you can actually print answers or print assessments now. So you can print tests and now you can print answer keys. So you can see that there's going to be a lot of updates on there. Let's now head to our courses. On the left-hand side, we're going to select courses. And this is where you're going to see all the courses that you're enrolled in as an instructor and a student. You can use the filters and the search items at the top of your screen to navigate to previous semesters or to look at your current courses. And that's going to be the current semester that we're in. So if you went to current courses as a faculty member, you would see any summer courses that you are teaching. Just so you know, our fall courses are available. So fall 2024 is available right now for you in Blackboard. So you can head in there and start working. We are less than a month away from the start of the term. So if you select terms here, locate fall 2024, you can get a nice head start on getting your course ready to go. So we're going to go ahead and access one of our courses. It's going to open up right over top of that courses page. Real quick, I just want to give you a tour of what we have here, especially if you're new to Ultra. It definitely looks different from Blackboard Original. So over on the left-hand side, we're going to have our details and actions menu. Our details and actions menu are going to be quick links to frequently used tools and features. So this menu here on the left is a static menu. It's not something that you can add items to or remove items from. The items on this left menu that I think you'll probably use are, of course, the roster. This is going to be a way for you to view all of the students in your course. This is also going to be a place where you can add student accommodations. And then another feature I like here over on the left-hand side is your attendance. So if you are teaching an in-person class or that traditional style, you can go ahead and choose attendance over on the left-hand side. In a perfect world, and it would show up for you to mark off attendance for each student. I think my internet here at home is a little lagging. And the other option over here on the left-hand side that I think you'll use are the books and tools. So if you do have any publisher content or content from your textbook publisher, that's where you're going to be able to access that. At the very top of our course, across the top, we have our top navigation. So this is where you're also going to be able to access different parts of your course. So you can see that we currently are in the content tab. I like to think of that as the home page. This is where all of your course content is going to be. You have your announcements, you have a place where you can put your discussion boards, and of course the ever popular gradebook. Of course, this is not something we're going to cover in today's training, but this is where you're going to be able to see all of your students, all of your assessments, and how your students are doing. And again, if we go back to that content tab in the upper left corner, that's going to bring us back to the quote unquote home page of our course, where we can see all of our content. If you're familiar with Blackboard Ultra, Blackboard Original, Blackboard Ultra has really flattened the user interface. So again, students don't have to go into multiple folders to view their content. They're going to see everything right here on the main page. Quick pause here, folks. Any questions with where things are located in an Ultra course? Or is there anything that you know you used in Original and you just want to make sure it's still there?
I have one question.
Yes.
Is there any way to hide the left side where you see in the home page course faculty details actions, that side, that column, the whole column?
That's a great question. And so the question is, can we hide details and actions? As of right now, no, we cannot hide this column. We cannot hide individual items or the entire thing. But I know that Blackboard is making changes to this entire kind of main interface. So I will check on that for you.
Yeah, I have a question about attendance.
Okay, yep.
In the old Blackboard, I made the mistake of setting it up to take attendance, and Blackboard was giving them points, which attendance didn't count for points. I was just taking attendance.
Sure, yep.
Is that different in the new version?
So if I could click on this attendance, and if it was opening, I could show you, but for some reason, it's not letting me. But yes, that is an option. So you can take attendance, and there is a checkbox that you can simply exclude it from the grade book.
Okay.
Right. Any other questions with just navigating Ultra? Right. Let's go ahead and create our course organization. So you're going to notice here on my main page, I have, these are called learning modules. And so that's what we're going to go ahead and build first. We're going to build a learning module. A learning module is a place where you can kind of contain all of your course content. So to build a learning module, you're going to go ahead and locate where in your course you want to add the module. And notice I have this purple plus sign. I can add a module anywhere I want to in the course. So I'm going to go ahead and add a module between 1 and 2. I'm going to choose my purple plus sign, and I'm going to select Create. Once that panel opens up on the right-hand side, we're going to go ahead and choose Learning Module, which is our first option. Now, something I really like about Ultra is that they've really made building items pretty easy, top to bottom, left to right, and it kind of tells you what to do as well. So first, we're going to go ahead and build our learning module. I'm going to go ahead and name it. So I'm just going to call this module 1A for today's purposes. You're going to go ahead and name your modules something easy to identify for your students, whether it's by module, by units, by week, or by topic. You're going to go ahead and set the visibility. So do you want this to be hidden from students right now, or do we want to make it visible? We can add a module description, which will show on our main course content page. And then we do have a few other options I do want to point out. So the nice thing about a learning module is you can force your students to go through a module in a specific order. So this is great for those fully online courses where you want your students to read your objectives first, you want them to learn the content first, and then maybe you have some formative assessment items. So you can force your students to go through your content in order. We can also add a module image. There are stock images built into the Blackboard platform. I'm just going to go ahead and choose a welcome image. And then I'm going to select Save in the lower right corner. And here is my module that I just created. So again, all we did was select where we want to insert our module. We selected that purple plus sign, selected Create. From that right panel, we select a learning module. We name our learning module. We adjust the visibility. We can choose to add a description. We can choose forced sequence, meaning our students have to go through our learning module in a specific order. And we can also choose to add a module image. Then we select Save, and we can see our module is now here on our main content page. So in addition to learning modules, I also want to show you how to create a folder. So these are both two containers that you can put your content into, a learning module and a folder. So let's go ahead and now create a folder, and then we'll talk about the difference. So again, anywhere I want to add my folder, I'm just going to choose that plus sign, and I'm going to choose Create. Now from that right panel, I'm now going to choose Folder. Same process here. I'm going to go ahead and name my folder. I'm going to adjust my visibility. Again, I can add a description if I want to, and then select Save. I can now begin adding items to my folder. So let's walk through that process one more time. This time I'm going to add the folder to my module 1A. So I'm going to click on my module. You can see it kind of opened up a little bit here. You can also use the arrow on the right to open and collapse it. Always looking for that purple plus sign. Choose Create. Panel opens on the right-hand side. I'm going to choose Folder. Notice I can't choose Module because I'm adding this within the module. We'll adjust our visibility and select save. So we talked about two containers here, a learning module and a folder. The difference between the two is really that one setting of forced sequence. A learning module is great when you have content that you want your students to go through in a specific order. A folder is great if it's within a learning module, or if you just have some items, some links, some videos that you need your students to go through, and you just want to organize them and chunk them into a smaller folder. So you can see here we have a folder outside a learning module, and we have a folder within a learning module. Any questions with those two types of containers to organize our course?
I have one.
Yes.
I notice you have a folder just titled PowerPoint slides.
Mm-hmm.
I provide all my slides for my students. If I put the PowerPoint slides in a folder in a module, do they have to complete all the prior modules before they can see that? So some students need to have the content in advance.
Absolutely not. The only time that students will need to go through your content in order is if in that module setting, you check that box that says forced sequence. You don't check that box, they can access all of the content at any time in any order.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Yep. So that forced sequence, I really like to use if I want my students to read my content or watch my videos before they take a quiz. Or, there's different instructional methods for that feature, but that's kind of the main difference between a module and a folder. Any other questions between a learning module and a folder, whether how we create them or how we use them? Hop over to that chat, see if there's any questions coming through.
I have one question, if I may.
Yes.
When you go to that module, just by the image for that module,
Mm-hmm.
hidden from or visible to students, if you click on that drop down menu,
Yes.
you'll see release conditions there.
Yes.
The last one. When you click on it, you see performance. Does that mean you can include this in gradebook using that performance checkbox?
That's a great question. So when you set up your modules or anything in Blackboard, you can choose to have it visible to students immediately. You can choose to hide it from students, or you can choose this third option, which is release conditions, which means I can choose to open this module on a specific day or time and hide it after a specific date and time. But I can also choose to show it based on a gradable item. So what this means is my students have to take my quiz 1 and receive at least 16 points or higher to be able to view this particular module. So it really doesn't have anything to do with the grade book. It just has to do with how are we going to show our students this particular module. So maybe you want them to take a quiz before they move on to the next module. Maybe you want them to post to a discussion board before they view the next module. So what you're seeing here is all about how and when our students will view content.
Thanks.
You're welcome. This is a great way, especially in those online courses, to kind of customize the experience for your students. So now we know where everything is in Ultra. We've created some learning modules and some folders. Let's get into some fun stuff and start adding some content items to our course. So the first thing I want to show you how to do is add a document to our course content here. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my module. I'm also going to open my folder because that's where I'm going to put this particular item. Again, we're always looking for that purple plus sign. You're always looking for where do you want to insert the content. So I'm going to choose that purple plus sign and choose create. And from our panel that opens up on the right-hand side, we are going to choose document. Even though this says document, I really want you to think of it as a page because not only can we add documents here, but we can add text, we can add videos, we can really make an instructional page here. So we're going to go ahead and name this document, but I'm just going to title it Syllabus and Schedule. In the upper right corner, I'm going to go ahead and choose that visibility for my students. I'm just going to make this visible. And in the center of the screen, we're going to go ahead and begin adding our content. Once I add content, I'm going to get the editor toolbar. This should be familiar to you, looks very familiar to any other editor toolbar that you would use in other applications. We're going to go and tell our students to review the syllabus. Now from our editor toolbar, over on the right-hand side, I'm going to go ahead and use the paperclip or the attachment icon to locate my syllabus from my local machine. And this can be any file type. This can be a Word document, a PowerPoint, a PDF. So anything that you can go ahead and upload, we can go ahead and do. And there is our syllabus. Let's walk through that process again. So wherever I want to add a document or a page of content, I'm going to choose that purple plus sign, choose Create, choose Document from the right panel, name my document, choose my visibility in the upper right corner, and then on the center of the screen, begin building out my content. I can add text. I can also adjust my text in terms of style using the editor toolbar. But what's important here is over on the right-hand side, we can go ahead and add the attachment from our local machine. Once you add your attachment, you can choose for your students to view it only, to download it only, or to view and download it right in the screen. So we'll go ahead and hit save, and then save again. Now, I mentioned that when we're creating this document, it's really kind of a page where I can begin building my content out for my students. So you'll notice below my syllabus here, I have that purple plus sign. So again, I can just continue to add content. Now, of course, this particular example is just me adding a syllabus and a schedule, but this could be a PDF document, a PowerPoint. This could also be after they read those, maybe they can go ahead and watch a video at the bottom of this page. So this really gives you the flexibility to build out your content. Now that's just the basics of me building out these document pages. What questions do we have in terms of building our content and uploading files? Because I'm sure everyone kind of is going to do this a number of different ways because each course is different, but I just wanted to show the basics of that editor toolbar and uploading a document file. What questions do we have with this process?
I notice when you create items, whether it's documents, folders, what have you, you have the option visible or hidden. Do I have to do that for every item, or can I, for example, create a folder or a module, populate it, and then set the module for visible and everything within it will flip over?
Yeah, so great question. So the top level, if everything, actually I don't. So if the top level is hidden, of course, they're not going to see the folder or anything in it. If everything here is visible, you could still unfortunately forget to make something within it visible. So my recommendation is after you are done building everything in your course, we're going to come to the top of our course content and we're going to choose these 3 dots in the upper right corner and we're going to choose batch edit. So I would recommend doing this at the end of your design and development process. Choose everything and go ahead and edit the visibility for everything and make everything visible or, of course, visible. So this is going to catch anything that you maybe forgot to make visible. So there's nothing kind of left over that is hidden. Does that answer your question?
Yep, thank you.
Perfect.
Related to that, if you make a module not visible,
Mhm.
but everything else within that module visible, will students be able to see the content within that module?
They will not. So if the top level, if the top level is hidden, everything within it will be hidden as well.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions with creating our content or uploading content files? So let's go ahead and move on, and I want to go ahead and show you how to add a media file or a YouTube video to your course. And then we'll kind of show some more examples of how you can kind of set up different, content items and instructional materials within your course. So we have our syllabus and schedule here. Right below that, I want to go ahead and add a video. So there's a couple of different ways that we can do this. So I want the video, I don't want it to be on my syllabus and schedule page. I could easily choose this purple plus sign and add a video if it pertained to my syllabus and schedule. But my video is actually kind of a separate piece of content. So I'm going to go ahead and choose the plus sign right below it and choose create. I am going to go ahead and choose document. I'm going to show you how to upload a video two different ways. First, we're going to choose document. We're going to go ahead and name our document. And in the center of the screen, I'm going to go ahead and add content. Now I'm going to go ahead and go all the way down to the right side of my editor toolbar. And what I'm actually uploading is a YouTube video. There is kind of this direct integration with YouTube. So you can search for a video by title, by keyword. I actually have the video link here, so I'm just going to go ahead and search for that and insert my video here. Now, the reason I like to add a video this way is because it's going to show the video right in line. So I can go ahead and add some context, some instructions for what my students need to do with the video, maybe some important points that they need to pay attention to. So I never like to just add content to my courses. I like to make sure I provide some context with what my students need to do with that material. But I like this because you can start building out, again, your document page. I can add some content here. I can add a video. Maybe right below here, I have another video I want them to watch. Maybe at the bottom, I just have some important points that I'm going to type out. So you can really begin to build that document page. So that's one way that we can insert a video, by creating a document and from that editor toolbar, uploading our video here or searching for our video. If it's not a YouTube video and it's just a link to a video, you can just go ahead and choose media and paste your URL to the video there. Now, another way that you can add a video is by clicking that purple plus sign, choosing create, and choosing the link option. So this can be a link to an external website. Give it a little refresh. I think my internet is going slow here. All right, we'll let that kind of spin for a little bit, see if it lets me do it in a second here. In the meantime, we'll take a quick pause. Any questions with uploading videos or adding video links?
One question,
Mhm.
can you put in a hyperlink to another portion of your course so for get students to navigate quickly?
Yes, great question. If I could show it to you, the way you would do that is you would hit the purple plus sign, you would choose create, and you would choose this link option. So in that link option are going to be kind of two tabs. The first tab is going to be just a link to an external website, a link to a video, just basically a hyperlink. The other option is going to be a course link. So yes, that's where you can choose a different place in the course to link your students so they can easily reference back to a piece of content earlier in your course. So the last thing I want to show is basically how to manage all of your content and all of your items in your course. So you'll notice throughout the course, you have these three dots to the right of all of our items. So that's going to be your options menu. This is where you can edit items and delete items. So if I wanted to edit the title of module 2, I can choose those three dots, choose edit the title, add a description, or edit any of these settings. That's also where I can delete the item if I needed to. And you're going to see those three dots throughout an Ultra course, whether it's a content item, whether it is an assignment, you're going to see those three dots throughout your course. And that's going to be where, again, you can go ahead and edit or delete your items. I also want to mention how to rearrange or move items. So Ultra is nice because it gives you the ability to add items where you want them to live. But of course, we make mistakes. So you can see that this mid-semester check-in discussion board lives on my main content page, but I actually want it to live in module 3. So notice when I'm hovering over any of these items, I get this hand icon. I can just click and drag to reorder or move things around. So if I wanted, oh, this introduction needs to be ahead of the quiz, or the discussion board needs to be ahead of the quiz as well, we're just going to click and drag to reorder items. So nothing is set in stone. We can always move things around, edit or delete items. Let's give it another try here. All right, so kind of going out of order, but this is what adding a link looks like. So again, your first option is going to be add a web link. This can again be a link to an external website, a link to a video, whatever you would like. You can also add a description. And we'll go ahead and put in our video. Or your other option is a course link. So the course link is going to let you search your course and find a specific item that you want your students to reference back to. So this is everything in my course that fits this particular criteria. I want them to revisit this piece of content on feminism. I'm going to go ahead and add that in. So here is that linked piece of content. So anything that is linked, you're going to see that link icon, but this is something that was in the course. It's referenced maybe in a previous module, but now right before they take the quiz, I just want them to revisit this particular piece of content. Let me show you how that video link looks. And description. So again, I showed you two ways to add a video link. One is actually on a document page where the video lives in line on the document. The other way to add a video link is just directly on our content page. You can see here's the descriptive text, but if I click on it, it's going to open in another window instead of living in line in my content. All right, folks. Any questions with adding links, adding media files, or anything that we covered in our session today?
Hi, we use Connect quite a bit, McGraw-Hill Connect.
Okay, yep.
Adding those in after obviously we had to create it in the site first, but linking that in. Could you just go through that? I think I know what to do, but be good to hear from you.
Yeah, real quick. And this will probably be for a lot of people on the call. I know we had some question about it earlier. If you have a few minutes, we can go ahead and show that. I think the webinar was scheduled for 45 minutes. So for those that cannot stay past 11:45, I just want to put our information on the screen real quick. Here is our office. I've recognized a lot of the names on today's call, so I'm sure we've worked with a lot of you, or my wonderful colleagues have. If you need any further assistance with Ultra, please get in contact with us. You can have our information. You can see our information down there at the bottom of the screen. But you also will receive a follow-up email from me by the end of the day with a link to this recording and some quick how-tos covering the stuff that I covered today. So you'll receive the recording and some instructional materials. You can reach out to me personally or anyone on the team or our main email there. So I do want to thank everyone for joining real quick. If you do have to run, because I think I only scheduled it for 45 minutes,